Uh, okay, dear Faze, we can start.
Right, sir.
Okay.
Good evening, everyone, and a very warm welcome to the first session of our 1 week hands-on virtual workshop on artificial neurons and neural networks. We are delighted to have you join us for what promises to be an exciting journey into the foundations of modern artificial intelligence. The technologies shaping today's world, from recommendation systems and voice assistants to image recognition and autonomous systems, are all built upon concepts that trace back to artificial neurons and neural networks. Over the next 2 weeks, we will explore how machines learn from data, how neural networks are designed and trained, and how these systems are applied to solve real world problems across science, engineering, and industry. Whether you are new to AI or looking to strengthen your understanding of its core principles, this workshop has been designed to combine conceptual learning with practical implementation. Today's session will begin with an introduction to artificial intelligence and artificial neurons, laying the groundwork for the topics that follow. Understanding these fundamentals is essential before moving forward to more advanced concepts in machine learning, deep learning, and computational intelligence. It is now my honor to introduce our esteemed mentor and speaker, Dr. Meher Chand, a distinguished academician, researcher, and innovator with expertise in AI, machine learning, computational mathematics, and data driven technologies. Through his research contributions, academic leadership, and commitment to practical education, he has guided numerous learners and researchers in bridging the gap between theory and real world application. As the founder and president of MathTech and MathTech Thinking Foundation and founder of Alexora Tech Private Limited, he continues to create opportunities for learners to engage with emerging technologies and develop future ready skills. With great respect and enthusiasm, I invite Dr. Mehchan to kindly lead us in today's session. Over to you, sir.
Thank you dear Faze for nice introduction. And first of all, interest in this 2 week workshop. The workshop is in June, but unfortunately we have to postpone first day. So now it will be 2nd June to 15th June 2026. And this workshop is about 7 modules are there, and each module will be covered within 2 days. And also along with I would like to say that all the sessions mostly will be hands-on. Okay, we will pay some less attention on theoretical, but more on practical aspect. Okay, so actually the workshop, 2-week workshop on artificial neural network and intelligence system is designed to provide participants with a strong foundation in artificial neural network and intelligent computing system. The workshop aims to bridge the theoretical concept and practical application through expert-led sessions. So artificial neural are fundamentals building blocks of the modern intelligent technologies inspired by the functioning of the human brain. So these systems plays a vital role in areas such as machine learning, deep learning, data science, healthcare analytics, robotics, smart system, finance, agriculture, and predictive models. So in the beginning few days of this workshop, some sessions will be based on the foundation of artificial neural network and their applications and how this ANN work and what are the basic skills are required to implement for all the branches of sciences, healthcare, in agriculture, robotics, etc. Okay, so all the content during the session which will be presented along with the recording will be provided you. Many times the participants are asking and many queries we go to from the participant who has shown interest in this workshop, asking are we able to attend the recording lecture? Yes, the recording lecture will be also available for you, and post the session we will share with you and all the content which we will cover, whether it is the script file used by any computing tool or the PDF files containing the content or theoretical part. So all these content will be available for you for your future use, and some assignments will be provided to you during the workshop, so that some of the evaluation part we can check whether you are getting some information, whether these sessions are valuable or informative for you, where is the gap. So feedback is also time to time is essential. Okay, so without any loss of time, now I would like to share my screen with you, and this is my screen. Also, if you have any question during the session, you can ask from me. You can raise your hand, okay? Or either you can put your queries in the chat box. And the sessions will be very friendly and open to discuss. Also, yes, you can see this is my desktop. So that today's session is divided in two parts. First, in the very first, we would like to have the introduction about artificial neurons and neural network and how these are working. Okay, so I don't like to open my webcam so that you can have clear visibility. Okay, so I am stopping my video. Yes, and I think now it is more clear. I hope so. So this is the 2-week workshop on artificial neurons and neural network. Okay, and mainly it is organized by MathTech Thinking Foundation, which is MSME Section 8 company, 12 IB registered. Okay, and the main objective of this foundation is to help the paper. So here is the introduction about evolution and application of AI. Actually, the artificial intelligence, commonly known as AI, refers to the branch of computer science that focuses on creating machines and systems capable of performing tasks that normally requires human intelligence. These tasks include learning from the experience, reasoning, problem solving, understanding language, recognizing the pattern, and making decisions. The scope of AI extends across numerous domains such as healthcare, education, transportation, finance, robotics, cybersecurity, agriculture, scientific research. So today, AI is becoming an integral part of our daily lives through virtual assistant, recommendation system, autonomous vehicle, and intelligent decision support system. So, historical development, if we can observe in 1950, birth of AI, artificial intelligence coined by Johann McCarthy in 1956. And during the 1960 to 1970, the early progress from solving symbolic reasoning and expert system, we are able to work in this direction. In 1980s, AI Winter Limited, AI Winter is the international conference. During that, limited computing power and high expectation led to the slowdown. And some examples related to AI were demonstrated during that time. In 19s, we can observe the rise of the machine learning. Some of the integral parts, like you can see the mathematical, statistical method, the neural network revival, SVM, Bayesian models, etc., has been introduced to make some machine learning models. In 2000, big data and algorithms, we can see that in the there is a huge data set by on YouTube. We can have the social medias like Facebook. We can have Google. So all these platforms have the large data set, and through this big data and algorithm, growth of the data, improved algorithm, and computing capabilities has been increased. In 2010, the deep learning era, breakthrough in neural network, GPU computing, more data, and right now in the 2020 and beyond, AI everywhere. We can see the generative AI, large language models are there, AI agent and human AI collaborations are there. So this is a little about the history of development of AI. And the major milestones in the AI research, we can see during the 1956 Dartmouth Conference, Foundation of AI as a field has been introduced. 1966 ELIZA, one of the first AI chat program. 1972 we can have the Prolog, early AI programming language. 1997 we can have the IBM Deep Blue, which defeat the world chess champion. And in 2011, IBM Boston won Jeopardy quiz show. And in 2012, AlexNet, we can see the breakthrough in the image recognition. 2016, we have the AlphaGo, defeat World Go to the champion. And 2020 plus, generative AI, ChatGPT, and many generative AI models we can see, and we are able to use in academia, in health science, everywhere. Okay, so the current trend we can see, we have the deep learning advancement. We can have the generative AI like LLM diffusion models. We can have the edge AI and cloud computing. We have AI plus robotics. Many machines has been developed which are intelligent, driverless cars are there. Okay, so existing, we can have the decision making. So along with we have the responsible AI and ethics we have to keep, and the many, as you can see, we have we are using some just like AI tools for the research writings, but along with we have to keep our ethics while writing this, and the applications of AI in real life. Also, we are responsible about the AI and real beneficial for the society we can use. AI and IoT connected intelligence and human AI collaborations. So the applications we can see, and already we have discussed in healthcare, we can use AI for disease diagnosis, medical imaging, drug discovery, personalized treatment, patient monitoring. In education, we can use for the same, just like personalized learning, intelligent tutoring, automated grading, content recommendations, virtual classroom, etc. In finance, we can use AI for fraud detection, algorithm trading, risk assessment, credit scoring, chatbots, customer support, etc. And agriculture, we can use crop monitoring, soil and weather analysis. There are so many models which we can use, just like the crop prediction. Recently, we also work on it and develop a model. So by introducing the some database involving several parameters, we can develop a intelligent model for the crop prediction, recommendation. Okay, so pest detection, smart irrigation. So all these are the applications in the agriculture, in the manufacturing and smart system. Also, we can see various applications are there of AI. So this is all about the introduction about AI, the history and applications in the modern era. So this is the most important part. So in the left side, you can see biological neurons, and there are several components just like dendrites are there, cell body, axon, nucleus, axon terminals. So dendrites the signals and cell body axon transmit the signal and axon terminals send the signal. So this is the biological neurons on the left side you can see, and on the right hand side, on the basis of the biological neural model which is working, and on the basis of this biological neural model, we can see the artificial neuron on the right hand side, which also involves just like the inputs, weight, bias, activation function, summation, and output. So these are the some components which are essential to understand how and how we can use them. So at the bottom, you can see there are two partitions. On the left side, you can see the biological neuron, and on the right hand side, we can have the artificial neurons. Okay, so this is the comparison. So in biological neurons, dendrites receives the signal, and in the artificial neural network, we have. Yes, please, I am audible. Please keep muted your mic whenever it is required. You can unmute your mic. Or either if you have a question, you can. Yes, I think one participant have open is using two devices, and when you are using the two devices, then in that case we have echo. Okay. So first thing I request to all the participants, please keep muted your mic. If you have question, you can put in the chat box. Okay. Or you can raise your hand. So right now I muted all the participant. So right now only you can put your questions in the chat box only. Okay. So the interruption can be avoided. And this is the only the introduction. What is the AI and what are the component? What you need to develop the AI concept and the models which you want to introduce in your study. Okay, so only this is the introduction part, and the content are quite simple. Just we need to follow what type of the skills you are required. Okay, so now I again going to share my screen. Yes. Thank you. So we are required to compare here biological neurons and artificial neurons. Okay. So the components which you can see on the left side, which is based on biological, and on the right hand side we have the artificial neurons. So the entire model which we are using, the artificial neurons, these are the basic component and essential for all type of the models which we want to use develop by using artificial neural network. Okay. So at the bottom, you can see the comparison, how these models are associated with each other. Okay, so in the left hand side, you can see uh, biological neurons. dendrites receives the signal. In the same way, in artificial neural networks, we are required inputs, which you can see in the left column, x1, x2, x3, and so on, xn. These are the input, and through these input, artificial neural network receives some data, some information. And in the biological neurons, there is a cell body, okay, process to the signals. On the right hand side, we have the weights W1, W2, Wn scales the input, and action transmit the signal. And on the right hand side, you can see bias is there and summation weight is there. Okay, so summation compute the weight, which is the you can say the sum of the product x1 w1 plus x2 w2, x3 w3, xn wn. Okay, these are some weights which are required, w1, w2, w3. Okay, and wn. So x1 product with the w1, x2 with the w2, x3 with the w3. So the sum of these computation will be taken and will be added some bias. Okay, bias is some type of the value, okay, which we are required to add here to make more appropriate predictions. And then we are required activation. So this activation is required to sum, okay, or weighted sum will required to compute through some activation function. Okay, so this is the activation function. And after computation result to the other neurons. Similarly, we can have this is the complete process which is based on the biological neurons. And we this value which you can see the output. Okay, so the machine learning models sometimes or many times in the initially these are not targeted the exact value or accurate value. So for that we are required to make the more intelligent, and there is several process which we are going to cover in the next slide. Okay, so here are the major component of artificial neurons. So these five components which you can see on the left hand side, how our model will work, how we can implement all these. Okay, so very first we have is the input and input signals. Okay, the values which you can see in this model, which is in the center in the major image, in the central part you can see the component. Here you can see the input, then weights are there, summation, activation, outputs. So these are the component. Okay, so what are the inputs? Information from the external source and represented as a numerical value. And initially we note all these values by x1, x2, xn. So all these values which are we are noting by x1, x2, xn, and all these will have some numerical values. Okay, so these are inputs. Then we have the weights and bias. Okay, so weights are denoted by W1, W2, and so on, and Wn. Okay, so each input has an associated weight, and weights represent the strength of the connection actually. Okay, bias B is shift to the activation function to adjust the output. Okay, so bias is not a not any fixed value. So this value is taken randomly. Okay, when we do in practical part, then you will have the better understanding. But B is some type of the value which will shift to the activation function to adjust the output value. Okay, for that we are using summation function. This is the main equation which you can see here. Net input is calculated by using this equation, or you can see here Z is some summation equation, which will be equal to summation I equal to 1 to n and wi xi plus b. So all the values which will be computed by using the summation function and plus the bias, okay, which will store inside z variable. Okay, so this is the net input. So net input then passed through the activation function. So the activation function applies to the net of the Z and introduces non-linearity to the neurons. Common functions which we can use are step sigmoid, 10H is there, ReLU function is there. So here are the common activation functions which you can see here. This is the step function, okay, which we will cover in the coming session in more detail. Just you must have some information. These functions will appear, okay. So you can see that this is the first is the step function. We have the sigmoid function is highly useful, okay, and its value lies between 0 to 1, okay, and step function have the value either 0 or 1, and 10 h function the value lies between -1 to 1, and here is the ReLU function, and from the ReLU function image you can see the massive value fz will be equal to fz. What is fz? Fz is the only activation function, okay. So this will be the maximum value from z to z. So if the value is from on the left side of y-axis or on the left side of 0, so fz will be 0, and otherwise as the value of z is increased, the value of fz is also increased, okay. So the values of z and fz both will be equal on the right hand side from 0 to infinity. So this is the ReLU function, and then we have also the leaky ReLU function which you can see. So fz will be equal to maximum alpha z z, alpha z to z, okay. So these are the some activation functions which are required to calculate this value to get the output value, okay. So this activation function will return some output value. So this is the some sequence of the steps which you can see. First we are required input, then we are required weights and bias summation function, then activation function. This is the output. So these steps are required when we want to use artificial neurons for to do some type of the model, okay. So you can see here activation functions or mathematical calculations are required, okay. So output generation, last step, the output y is the result of activation function and passed to the other neurons or used as the final output, okay. Sometimes if the value is not according to the desired value, then we can use this for the next neurons to for the further calculation. So this is the one part of neurons. By using this pattern we can compute these values, okay. So these components are very essential, which you can see here 5 components to understand how artificial neurons will work to develop the model. So here we can see some mathematical modeling of neurons, and many things are similar to as we discussed in the previous slide, okay. So you can see here input, okay, x1, x2, xn, and these will be connected with the w1, w2, wn, which are the weights, okay. The neurons receives n inputs represented as a vector. You can see as x is equal to x1, x2, and so on xn transpose, okay. So these all these inputs we store like a vector. Each input xi is associated with the weight wi, represent the strength of the connections, and this is the summation we have already discussed it, okay. And then we have the bias value b is added, and we have the z is equal to summation I equal to 1 to n wi xi. So all these are the linear combination, then b is added here, and this is the summation, and then after we are required activation function, the same thing we have at this place, okay. Xi, wi, b, z, f activation function, and on the basis these inputs we have the mathematical formulation of artificial neurons. This is important here to cover this concept, okay. So here you can see what is f. F is only we have function, and input is z variable, and z is equal to the linear combination of uh, xi, x vector and w vector. Okay, plus b is added here, which is bias. So y is equal to y is the output value, and f is some function which is activation function. So all the calculations which we made at this place will pass through this activation function, and we get the final value which is the output value. So this expression is very essential, and on the basis of this we can calculate the desired values. Okay, so symbols which you can see here, xi, wi, I think now are familiar. Xi is the ith input in the neuron. Wi is the weight of the ith input. B is the bias term. Z is the net input. Okay, so Z sometimes we can say the net input, which is the weighted sum plus bias. F dot activation function. Y is the output of the neuron. Okay, so this is the complete. You can see the mathematical model of neurons, which is, I hope, quite simple. If you have any question, we can discuss here. Okay, so then after you can see these are the some threshold logic and activation mechanism which are also required to understand here. Okay, so when we have developed this mathematical model for artificial neurons. Okay, so we are required these functions which will help for the more accurate outputs. So what are these? First we have is the threshold based on decision making. Neurons make a decision by comparing the input data, okay, with the threshold. So see here, if z is greater than and equal to theta, theta is some value which is greater than 0. Okay, if z is greater than that particular value theta, output will be equal to 1, which is activate. Okay, and if z is less than theta, output will be 0, deactivate. So actually when we are using this threshold, when we have the output 1 only, that is considered, and if there is no the output is 0, then we need some more steps are required. Okay, so the output value only when we have output is 1 or approximate to 1. Okay, so that depend upon the value of theta. So there are only two values based on the value of theta. Okay, so if net input is greater than z, then we have the output 1. Okay, and which is activate, and otherwise deactivate if the value of theta is or input net is less than 0. So according to that we are required. So what are the main key point? Simple and interpretable, effective for the mainly binary decisions when we are required to take, forms the basis of perceptron and many learning models. Then second one we have is the role of activation function, which is more important for us and highly useful. Okay, so actually mainly we are using the activation functions. Okay, so activation functions transform the net input into the output by introducing usually the non-linear behavior. Okay, so why this is required? Introduce the non-linearity, bound or scale the output, enable learning of the complex pattern, control the flow of the gradient during the training. Sometimes if we are going to train the model, so the gradient to play very important role to decrease error. What is error? Error is the actual value and the predicted value. So when we are using artificial neural network mechanism to develop any intelligent or recommendation model, prediction model, anything, so always this will not return the exact value. This is the approximate value. Okay, so the difference between exact value and the predicted value, okay, which is based on machine learning model, okay. So our main objective is to reduce the error between these two values, exact value and the approximate value. So to reduce this type of the error, we can use the gradient, which will help us to reduce the error. Okay. Improve the expressive power of the network. So the role of the attribution function, which we are using here, is to reduce the mainly the error. And these are some 5 points which I discussed here. Okay. So this is the main purpose why we are required to use activation function. Okay. Next we have is the binary step activation function. This is the simplest activation function that implements the threshold logic. Binary step function you can see here, and also we have discussed fz is equal to either it will be 1 or 0, depend upon the threshold. Z is greater than or equal to theta, then we have 1, and if z is less than theta, then we have 0. Okay, and what are the pros and cons? So it is simple, easy to implement, interpretable, and as you know, we have this function is not differentiable. Okay, so non-differentiable, not suitable for gradient-based learning. So when we are required to optimize the output value, in that case, we are not able to use this function. So actually, each type of the activation function which we are going to cover here, they have their different role, and we are required to understand what are the role of this and how which type of the activation function is required to use. Okay, so when we have the several examples, we are required to more study about these activation functions, their properties, their functionalities, their conditions. Okay, which when we will implement one by one in our learning part, we will have we will demonstrate by using Python or the MATLAB how we can integrate them, how we can calculate the computing for these artificial neurons. Okay, so these common activation functions we have already discussed. Last one we have is the need for non-linearity. Why we need non-linearity? This is again important part. So in the real world phenomena, rarely linear separable, non-linearity allows a neural network. Okay, so there are when we are getting some database and from any source which is very complex. Okay, there is no linearity. Okay, so non-linearity allows a neural network to model complex relationship between input and output, and by the application of non-linearity, we can learn non-linear decision boundaries. Okay, increase the representation power of the network, learn the hierarchical feature across layers. Okay, so the attribution function are the key to enabling neural network solve the complex problem. Okay, so here you can see this is the no attribution function is required for linear model, which you can see the image at the bottom in the center, and non-linear models with the activation required, you can see. Okay, so these are the some activation functions and basic some information which is essential, which are the component of when you will display establish any model. Okay, based on artificial neural network. So here perceptrons model you can see here. In this we can, yes, this part concept and architecture we have discussed already, I can skip this part. And the single layer perceptron. Okay, so what minimum layers to make any intelligent model, single perceptron is required, no hidden layer. Okay, it is directly input feature to the output, you can see here, input layer and output layers. there is no any hidden layer. Okay, in the hidden layer we have some computing part. Okay, so this type of the example which you can see here is single layer perceptron. Okay, so output we have is y equal to fz, and which is z is equal to this one, and fz is equal to 1 or 0. Z is greater than or equal to 0 when we have 1, and if z is less than 0, we have 0. So this is the simplest example. Okay, so learning process of perceptron. See here how we can update the value. Okay, so we are required to update the values when the output value, this is the output layer and this is the input layer, and in this model there is no hidden layer. Okay, so if we have developed one model and we don't have the equal to the target value. Okay, suppose that this is the output value and which is not equal to the target value. Target value means the actual value. Okay, so what we need to make it approximate or more close to the exact value, we have to update the weights, we have to update the value of B, bias. Okay, so this is the rule, how we can do. So Wi, this is the old weight, okay, plus eta. What is eta? Eta is the rate of learning, okay, which is greater than 0. We have to assign the value of learning rate. We can decide just like 0 0.1, 0 0.2, 0 0.3, depend upon the model, and we have to check. Several experiments are required. Okay, this is not the fixed value. T minus y. What is t and what is y and xi? We know xi. Xi is the input values. Okay. So what is t? T is the target, either it is 0 or 1, and y is also output value 0 or 1. Okay. So by using this formula, we have new value which is wi. By using this formula, we can update weight, and similarly we can update b. On the left side, in the second equation, this is the b new value, which is equal to b old plus eta product t minus y. Okay, so by using these two equations, we can operate the weight. And on the right hand side also, you can see the error function. What is error? Error is the mean square of t and y. Okay, t is the target value and y is the output value. Okay, target value is the exact value. Okay, so this is the formula to calculate error function. So what are the learning steps? Present a training sample, xt to perception, and compute the output value by using the current weight and bias. Okay, then if these values are not according to the target value, we have to update weights and bias using the rule which we have discussed now. Repeat until no misclassification or max iteration reached. Okay, so we have to repeat this process until we have the target value. Okay, so these are some in the first step you can see decision boundaries and classification. Okay, so here we have the perceptron can separate two classes that are linearly separable using the linear decision boundary, or you can say the hyperline, which you can see here. So there are the two type of the values. One is in the blue color and other is in the red color. Okay, so the decision boundary, you can see mathematical equations are there. W transpose, okay, multiplied with x plus b is equal to 0. If wt x plus b is greater than and equal to 0, then it is class 1. Okay, if wt x plus b is less than 0, then it is class 0. So class 0 is represented in red color and class 1 is represented in blue color. Okay, which you can see in the graph. So the line which you can see between these two data set is decision boundary. This is the decision boundary. So the values which can separate this information by using this equation only. Okay, which you can see here. So we have to calculate these values whether it is greater than 1 or greater than or equal to 0 or less than 0. Okay, if it is equal to 0, then we have this equation which you can see. So what are the advantages and limitations which we have discussed right now? Simple and easy to implement. We are required only the simple calculations are there, and everyone we can do manually these type of the calculations. Okay, I will try to put one example manual calculation so that you can have the better understanding about all this model. Simple example I will provide you. Okay, but right now we have only the calculation, only the introduction about this in this slide. Okay, so just we are required to understand what we need to develop to implement ANN. Okay, artificial neurons and neural network, how we can implement, what are the essential component and how these are working. So only first the understanding about the entire model is very important, and which type of the mathematics, how much mathematics is required. Okay, and which type of the skills are essential. So all these we are covering here. So computationally efficient, we are need some computing tool, just like we can use Python, which is highly useful and versatile software, free available. We can use Python on MS Office, Windows-based operating system, Mac, Linux, cloud-based, and also by using the Python, we can deploy our method, our model to develop just like the website or any mobile app. Okay, so when we have developed some model, then we are required to deploy also. Okay, so deployment is very important. By using the deployment, to everyone can use the model without having the coding or the computing process behind the model. Only we are required to give the inputs. So first, fast learning or linear separable data provides the foundation of neural network and good for real-time application. So these are the some advantages of this model. And what are the limitation? Can solve only the linear separable probable, okay, by using this model. Okay, fails on XOR and other non-linear separable data. Limited to the binary classification, no probabilistic output. Sometimes if we need some prediction model, in that case we are not able to use this single layer perceptron. Okay, we are required multiple layer, less expressive than multi-layer network. Okay, so multiple, when we are using the multiple layer network, in that case we have more details are required, how we can update the value, how we can use the gradient to update the value, how we can optimize the solution. Many things are there. Okay, so this is all about the perceptron model, which is very simple to develop, but there are some limitations and some are the advantages. So this is the major part. What computational intelligence? Okay, so computing intelligence is the set of the methodologies that simulate natural intelligence in the computer. So when we want to implement the artificial neural network to develop any model, okay, to develop a machine learning based model, to develop a recommendation model, to develop a prediction model, robotics, etc. So behind all these, computing, intelligent computing play a very important role. Okay, which are based on some algorithms. Okay, it deals with the uncertain, imprecise, incomplete, and complex prompts. Computing intelligence learns, adapt, and evolve to the find optimal or non-linear optimal solution. So all type of the complex problems we can observe, all these we can compute by using the computing intelligence tools. Okay. AI and computational intelligence, what are the difference between these two? So if we see artificial intelligence, that is the broad concept, and computational intelligence is the subset of AI, which is based on by using the some just like by using the artificial neural network. There are some tools which are intelligent, just like you can see weather prediction. Okay, so this is the intelligent computing tool which calculate the values based on the information surrounding the weather inputs. Okay, and all the calculations are producing automatically. Secondly, you can see by using the collab, Google Collab. Google Collab is also one type of the platform where we can do some type of the calculations without having any computing knowledge, without computing knowledge. Okay, so if you want to analyze the data and we don't know how we can do, or you want to develop some, you can say that in other words, prediction model, but we don't know what steps are required. Okay, which type of the algorithms are required, which type of the automation function is required. So all the things this collab do. Okay, so the computational intelligence is the subset of AI. Focus on building intelligent system. Okay, when we are using the artificial intelligence, we are developing some intelligent system. Okay, and on other side, use nature inspired techniques. So artificial intelligence use include like rule based, logic based learning approaches. Okay, and on the other side, handles uncertainty and vagueness. And last we have is artificial intelligence. A main goal is to make machines think, to make machine intelligent. Okay, and on the other side, goal is make machines adapt and learn. Okay, so this is the comparison between these two. So components of computing intelligence. One is artificial neural network, which we are going to cover during the session, and fuzzy logic system is also there. Evolution of computing and swarm intelligence, which are using to make more optimized. What are the key features of computing intelligence? Learning, self-learning, adaptability, robustness, handling the uncertainty, and automation. So these are the some key components. And applications, we know we can apply these computing intelligence everywhere in healthcare, finance, education, manufacturing, transportation, agriculture, smart system. Okay, so these are the areas where we are using the computing intelligence. And the most important thing, computing intelligence completely depend upon artificial neural network. Okay, the model behind this we have discussed in the previous one. Okay, so for that we are required some input, we are required weights, we are required bias, then summation function, activation functions are required. Okay, then gradient to make optimized solution. So these are the some component. Okay, and this is the essential mathematics for AI and ML, which is essential. Note everyone, if one don't have any sound mathematics background, the essential mathematics which is required for this artificial neural network, and we are going to cover along with some foundational mathematics which is required. So linear algebra is very essential, which will include like matrix operations, vector, dot product, norm, eigenvalues, eigenvector, and matrix decomposes, which are very simple. And I hope that all the participants who joined this workshop, most of the participants are from mathematics background. Okay, I saw the information about all the participants. So I think mathematics is not a big problem for maximum participant. If there are some participants who don't have any background related to the mathematics, don't worry. We will cover this essential mathematics during the session, just like the linear algebra. Okay, and some of you have studied and how we can compute all these values because uh, without using the computing and how we can give the inputs. If you are familiar about Python, it's good. If you are not familiar, not this is a not problem. Okay. Second, we have is the calculus. Okay, calculus mainly and most of the application part of the calculus we are using here uh, partial derivative and derivative. Okay, gradient and Jacobian. So mainly in calculus we will cover a limit and continuity derivative, gradient and Jacobian, partial derivative, and chain rule. Okay, but here highly useful is one is the derivative. Okay, and second is the gradient. So these two is highly useful. And probability and static dealing with the uncertainty and making inferences. So random variable, probability distribution, expectation and variance, Bayes theorem, sampling and estimation. So this part is when we have the model based on prediction or recommendation. So these are assumption. And if we needed to optimize for that, find the best solution for the problem. So we are required optimization, which will include like objective function, unconstrained optimization, constant optimization, gradient descent, and convexity. And last one we have is the discrete mathematics, just like set relations, logic prediction, graph entries, combinatorics. Okay, finite state machine. Finite state machine you can exempt. Okay, not much important for us. Okay, so only this component which I have present here, the essential mathematics. Okay, in statistics we can use just like mean, variance, dot product, sigmoid, ReLU function. Okay, so these are some basic mathematics which is essential, and everyone we can easily cover all these. Okay, so this is the you can see the gradient descent which update the row by using this model. We can update the values, we can update the weights, we can update the bias. Okay, so this is the cost of the gradient of the function delta z theta t neta. This is the learning rate. Okay, theta t is the old value and theta t plus 1 is the new value. So all the biases and weights will be calculated, will be updated by using this model. This equation is very, very important. Okay, so expectation, variance, bias model theorem, you can see the functions are there, derivative and gradient are there, dot product and norm, you can see the expressions here. Okay, so this is these functions which you can see in this slide. This is the basic and fundamental foundation mathematics, which is essential for AI and ML. Okay, only these areas we are required to cover, and we can easily cover during these 14 days. Okay, so how we are covering these each step by step, the functions which are essential, we are using, we are implementing through using the Python, and some part also we will use by using the MATLAB. Okay, you can also introduce R programming because R and Python both are open and free available. If you are dealing with only the data set, big data, you can easily use R programming also for to develop this type of the prediction and recommendation models. Okay, and Python is also there. Python is one of the most useful and versatile programming. Okay. So this is the about a major, you can say, the introduction about the entire artificial neurons and neural network, and what we need, which type of the mathematics is required. So we cover the basic introduction and to prepare to learn artificial neural network and to implement. Okay, so this is the very essential part component for the entire workshop. Okay, so if you have any question related to this content, you can put your questions in the chat box. Okay, if I can see chat box first. Okay, Vyas, what is the actually Vyas is nothing but a value which by using the introduce just like the error. Okay, if you need some target value, okay, by taking the summation which is not accurate to target value, we can add this bias, okay, which can help us to get the accurate or near value to the target value. Okay, so the value of bias is not a fixed value. We have to take randomly. Sir, can we relate to the summation function in n with the latent variable SAM or the factor thing in artificial neuron with the factor loading in the SEM? Uh, what is meaning of a SEM? Actually, the summation function is just to combine the values. Okay, all the inputs, and on the basis of the input. Okay, so the values are computed, and then this will return some output value by using the activation function. And only the activation function is there. By using the same, we can have some output. Okay, which can be near to the target value. Not necessarily that this is the accurate, but approximate. Okay, as in the beginning I told you that the by using this technique we don't have the exact value, but all type of the uh, models or the artificial neural networks which we are using, okay, provide the approximate value, but very close to accurate value, exact value. Okay, so the predictions which we are using by artificial neural networks, we can achieve more than 99%. SEM, structured equation model. Yes. So the sum is equal to sum means SUM. Okay. Once again, I repeat this part. See here. See into my slide. Only this image which you can see is important. Okay. If you come back here, you can compare here. So this is the biological neurons. So dendrites are the component where these are receive the signals. This is the cell body. This is the cell body. Okay. So what is the main function of this cell body? Process the signals. Okay. Nucleus is there. Axon transmit signals. Okay. You can see here. And axon terminals which have the central signal. Central signal means the output values. Okay. So if you will observe the structure of this biological neurons on the right hand side, artificial neurons looking similar. So these are the inputs which you can see. These are the inputs. And in the center, nucleus. So this is the way where the computing or the calculation is there, where the process is there in our brain. Okay. In the same way, we have the summation function. We have the summation function. So, and these are the actions terminal where these will send the signal or the output values. What is happening? Okay. So here, this is our main model which we are required to implement. So x1, x2, these are the only inputs. These are only input. Okay. So to sell the process signal, we are required weights W1, W2, W3, Wn. These are some weights, and the values of these weights are again not fixed. We don't know the values about these, but we know the values about input values. We know about only the values of x1, x2, xn. Okay, and here is also b. So if you will take the combination x1, w1, x2, w2, x3, w3, and so on. This is the sum function. Okay, this is the summation of these values, and we have to add b. So this is the linear equation. Okay, which will be computed here, and this is the summation function or weighted sum, you can say, including the value of b. Okay, so this value is stored inside one variable. We denote it by z function or z function. Okay, so what are the values we are required? We need to know output value. So the for the output value, what is happening about this type of the all type of the inputs which we get? Okay, for that we are required one activation function, and by using the activation function only, activation function is the action transmit signals. Okay, so with the help of action, we have the action terminals. Okay, we can send the signals. Okay, so the action in the biological neuron, we have the activation function in the artificial neural network. Okay, so this is the activation function. So this will send the value. This will send the signal. This will send the output value. Okay, so on the basis of this information, we have this is the output value. Okay, and what is the target value? What do we want to achieve? Whether it is equal to or not equal to. Okay, so the difference between this output value and the target value, these are two different things. Okay, so this output value is based on this model, and target value, which is the actual value. So the difference between these two values, we have the error, and our main task is to reduce this error. Okay, so by reducing this error function, we are required gradient. Gradient will help us. Okay, see now here, this is the everything. Okay, this is the z function. You can see here, z is equal to summation I equal to 1 to n wi xi plus b. This is the mathematical linear equation. Mathematical linear equation, which you can see the first part is the weighted sum, and the second part is the bias. Okay, and this is the value of z. Okay, so this is the net input. Net input, you can say this value which you calculate based on these inputs is the net input. Okay, this will pass through activation function. Then we have the output signal. So only this. Okay. In the coming other sessions, okay, only this diagram is most important to understand, and its component, its parameters. Okay, so the once you understand what are the input, what are the weight, what are the summation, activation, outputs, and what type of the activation function you can use, and what are the purpose to use. Okay, so once everything which you need for artificial neural network, I have introduced in this slide, in this PPT, okay, which will be available for you after the session. And once these two slides are, first is this one and second is this one. These two slides, once you are able to understand, there is no problem in the coming sessions. All the things are very quite simple. Okay. So the other parts just we are required to what type of the mathematics is required, how you can establish the mathematical formula. Okay, this thing is the only the value which you calculate at this place z. Put at this place, you have this mathematical equation. And all the components are also described here, the symbol and their description. Okay, so these three slides are important for the upcoming entire sessions. If you can understand this part, it's okay. If you are not understanding or if you have the issue, okay, everything we are not able to cover. But if you have question, you can ask it. Okay, these are the only the subordinate functions which we need to use in the coming sessions one by one. Okay, so the only the major part and the most important thing is only this tag and its component. Okay, once you understand, everything will be very simple. So this is the entire model which is based on the biological neurons, and we have the artificial neurons. Any more question if you have? I can permit you to unmute your mic. You can do. If you need to ask a question by unmute your mic, you can do. Okay. Just 1 minute. Where is? Yes. You can unmute your mic now. You are able to unmute your mic. Is there any question related to this presentation? If you have.
Yes, good evening, Prof.
Yeah, good evening. ICTNAEC.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you very much for the insightful presentation. Yes, like you rightly pointed out, some of us are not too good in mathematics, but we must learn at this stage. So I asked a question based on these equations you have given us. At which point can we now decide this equation is best for data sets modeling? This one is best for a particular model, mathematical modeling. At which point? Because we're trying to
This is a very
follow up
important
and
question.
understand.
Yeah, this is a very important question. But during this session, during this lecture, just I put the idea.
Okay.
What is artificial neural network and what you need? Okay, we did not discuss any model. These models will be covered in the coming days. Okay, so
Okay.
your question is associated with the coming sessions. So without having the example right now on my desktop, I am not able to clear your question. So your question
It's
is
okay.
concerned with the coming sessions. Okay,
It's
so
okay.
when we will cover different models, their implementation, implementation of the activation functions, how we can use them. With the actually the thing is we have some properties about these functions, their conditions, which we will cover during the coming sessions. Okay, so if so, when you will clear the properties, when
Okay.
you clear about the conditions about the specific model, which type of the technique and activation function is required, which type of the data set you have. Okay, so with the help of the data set and their application, when we will present, then you will have the better understanding. Okay,
Oh,
but
great.
right now in this session, I don't have any model. Just I present only the idea. What we
It's
need,
okay.
what is the artificial neural network, how we can compare biological neurons with the artificial neurons, and in artificial neurons, how much mathematics you need. Okay, mathematics is a very, very important component. Okay, static is also there, but along with the computing part is more important also, because if we don't have the computing skill, so without having the computing skill, computing thinking, logical thinking, we are not able to create this type of the recommendation models, or we are not able to implement artificial neural network. Okay, artificial neural network is just there are the 5 components, and all these 5 components will be discussed in the coming sessions with the various type of the applications. Okay, so once you will able to understand, and the also the activation functions. Okay, so without having the activation function, and then multiple layers. Okay, how many layers are required for your model? So all these completely depend upon the target value and the experiment. So without having experiment, without implementation, we are not able to decide. Okay, so experiments are required. Only then we are required to check also, we need to optimize the solution. Okay, so mathematics, just like calculus will help you to optimize our findings, to get to more accurate, to reduce the error between, what is error, the actual value and the predicted value, which predicted value means the value which we are getting by using artificial neural network. Okay, so this is the output value or predicted value, and the difference between predicted value and the target value, which is the actual value. Okay, so this is the error, and our main task is to reduce the error.
Thank you very much.
Hello, Professor.
Yes,
Hello, Professor.
yes.
Yeah, thank you for the presentation.
Hello, yes,
I
Joe.
I
How
just
are you?
wanted to ask, is there any very good textbook, that can be useful for this course, rather than just listening to the videos and the slides and all of that, but a textbook one can use and have and
Really?
do self-study. Did you get me?
Okay. So, did you attend my previous any workshop or training program?
Come again?
I want to know, did you attend any my program?
Yeah. Actually, I have some experience in all of this. Yeah, I have some experience.
Okay.
Mm, mm.
Yes, please, your question.
Yeah, my question is there a very good textbook, a book that can be used for this course so that one can
Yes,
use it
yes,
and
yes. I will provide you the book, but the book will be available after the workshop. The thing is, actually, uh, here I create the content systematically. If you will follow the book, there is only the maximum part is theoretical part. Okay, my concern is mainly practical, more than 60% practical and implementation part. Okay, so the theoretical part, which is essential for you to cover this workshop, we will cover during the session. Okay, just like in the today's session, we cover all the basic components which are essential. Okay, the second part, now we are going to discuss about the computing tool, just like how we can establish the Python. Okay, which is essential part. Okay, so some content which is based on theory. Okay, I will produce some PDF file which are prepared by myself, and simple to understand. So when you will cover my entire content, after that you can read any book to make your advanced level. Okay, for the next level, you can read any book. I will provide you 3-4 books, okay, to all the participants. So these books will help you when you will cover these 14 days, the basic foundation, all the content which are essential. Then you can make your advanced level by using these books. Okay.
Thank you very
Yeah. Any more question? Himania, you want to ask us some question?
Yes,
much.
I just wanted to ask either two questions here.
Two questions.
What I have posted one of them here. When we say the perceptron model is a single model, is a single layered model, and while we have the input and output layers already, what does it mean when we say that a perceptron model is a single layer?
Okay, suppose if you have only the two output, just like true or false, logical, success or failure, either success or failure. Okay, in that case, you can use a perceptron single layer because there is no other way to optimize. To optimize or to reduce the error, we need to use gradient. Okay, without having the gradient, we are not able to use the other layers. That's why. Because we have only the two values, 1 or 0. 1 for success, 0 is for failure. So there is no further calculation. Got it? You got it? I am not able to unmute your mic.
Yes, I say I got it, sir.
Yeah.
Second,
So, okay, thank you.
Second, in the structure of the ANN, we have the bias, and we have also, like for example, the perceptron model. In the prediction, we have the prediction error, and we have the bias. Can you please maybe a little bit tell us what it means, the difference between the bias and the prediction model?
Bias is nothing. Just like I have to come back to the screen.
Yes, sir. There.
Yeah, you can see. Yeah.
Here we have the bias.
Okay. This is the value B.
Yes.
Okay, and you can see this equation. You can see this is the equation. Bias incorporation. Okay. A bias, the term is B is added to the weighted sum. What is the weighted sum? Weighted sum is the combination of these two vectors. Okay, x1, x2, xn inputs, and these are the weights. So the combination of these, we have the summation. Okay, and plus B. B is the bias. Okay, bias is some value. Okay, why we need the bias? Net input becomes this one. Okay, so actually we are adding this bias to fit the model data better. Sometimes just like suppose that we need the target value is about 5. Okay, by getting the linear combination of these values, we have only 3 or 2. Okay, so we have to add some constant, some value, so that we can have not the exact value, maybe exact value by adding the bias value. Okay, because we don't know exact the value of B. What is the B? And also these values W1, W2, W3, Wn. All these values, including B and W1, W2, Wn, these are unknown. Okay, but we are adding the value of B here to make more accurate to this output value, which is the target value. Suppose that target value is 5. And by taking these values randomly with input, we have only 3. So we have to take the value of B so that it can be equal to output value. Okay, so according to that, we have to choose this value of B. But when you will implement this model with the real problem, then you will have the better understanding. Right now, I think you will be confused till now. Okay, but consider that B is some value which we are required to add here. Okay, I will give you one hands-on handwritten example how we can add this value. Okay, but this is the not fixed value. So main purpose is to use this value to make fit the model. Okay, so that we can achieve the value. Any more question?
Thank you, sir. I got it. I think as we continue doing the practical, then this will be very clear.
So you are required to understand this model, artificial neural model. Okay, so when we have the real problem to solve. Okay, one or two example I will put you for manual calculation. Okay, don't by using the computing tool, because when we are using the computing tool, we are not able to calculate all these values. Okay, so simple example I will put here so that you can calculate all these values and you will have the output value by using any activation function. Okay, which are given example at this place. 4 activation functions are there. There are some more activation functions, but here we are using only the 4 functions. So we have now 839 about 840. The next part which we are going, as you know, we are required to use computing tool. Okay, so we start our journey by using computing tool Python. Okay, so which is why Python? Actually, Python is versatile programming, and by using, and if we are developing some model and all type of the first thing is free available, everyone can access it. Okay, so what you will do today, you will do, come to here. My screen is visible. My screen is visible.
Yes.
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Okay, so in Google you will find here Anaconda. You will find here Anaconda. This is the official website, and from this place you will open. This is the instruction to all the participants. Okay, this Anaconda must be in your system by tomorrow. So today you will do this task. You will download Anaconda and install in your system. Okay, from this get started, you can click here. You can come back, skip the registration. Okay, so you will come here, choose your download. So this is available in 3, according to 3 operating system: Windows-based, Mac, Linux, and most of the participants are using Windows-based operating system. Okay, or very rare we have the Mac operating system, but if you are using the Mac, then you can select this one. Okay, for Windows-based operating system, you can see this link. So just you are required to click on it. You can download this Anaconda in your for your system. Okay, click on it. and this will download in your system. It will take a few seconds to download. Okay. So get installation. Just 1 minute. Yeah, it is downloading. You can see download is in progress. So 2 minutes are left to download. Okay. After that, you are required to install it in your system. And installation is again very quite simple. Everyone can install, free available, no license key is required. Okay. So after downloading, then this will download in your download. So you are required to come in the download. Just you are required to double click on it and install in your system. So after the installation in your system, this will appear. You will write here Anaconda. This navigator, Anaconda navigator, this is the icon you can see here in your system. Double click on it, a single click on it, and this will launch Anaconda navigator. So actually, there are several libraries are required when we install Python software in our system. But when you are using Anaconda in your system, and basically there is Jupyter Notebook IDE. So we are using Jupyter Notebook, which is very user friendly, and
Everything.
all type of the calculation, all type of the coding part, all type of the text which you are required will be available in your single file. So for the beginners who don't have any information or knowledge background about Python, so for the beginners, Jupyter Notebook is very simple to start journey to use this computing tool Python. Okay, for that you are required to install Anaconda. Okay, so this is opening Anaconda. After installation, it will take some few seconds to open. Okay, yes. So when you will open the Anaconda navigator in your system, this will appear like in this way, and several apps are there. Okay, so several apps are there. What if you will click here, all applications you can see, some are installed, some are launched. Okay, so when you will click on it, okay, so here new pop-up will open, and from this place you can, just 1 minute. Okay. Yes, yes. So here you can see when you will check this one, installed application. So this will sort here. Okay. So these applications which you can see here, all these are installed. Okay. So VS Code is there, Oracle is there, Azure is there. Okay. So what we need only this Jupyter Notebook. Okay, so this is the web-based interactive computing notebook environment. Edit and run human readable docs while describing the data analysis. Okay, so other things which we need to, we can use this Jupyter Notebook. Just you are required to click at the place to launch this app. Okay, so when you will click on it, this will launch in our system. And when you are using the Anaconda for Jupyter Notebook, okay, we are not required to install basic library Python. So, with this Jupyter Notebook in Anaconda, the basic libraries automatically installed in your system. So when you will open the Jupyter Notebook, this will appear like in this way. Okay, you can try after the session, after the installation, you can see this is the local host 8888/3. Okay, so this will work in the local host. Now, here you can see some folders are there. All these folders are from our system. Okay, so when you will open in your system, these icons, these folders will be from your system. But right now, all these are from my system. Okay, so if you can see, this is the download. This is the download. So all these, when I will double click on it, this will open. Okay, select and enter. So this will open, and you will see that all these directories which you can see are available in my download directory. So see here, this is my download. Okay, so in my download there are some folders are there, some files are there. Okay, so all these will be alphabetically in my Jupyter Notebook at the place. Okay, now you can see again, come back here. Yeah, so see here, new and upload. If you want to create one directory for your work, just like our workshop has been started. Okay, so what I will do, I will create one directory, and you will also create one directory. Directory means folder, new folder. Click on it, and then give the name. I give ANN, Artificial Neural Network Workshop 2026. Then enter. So this folder has been created. Okay, and when I will enter, this will open. And right now you can see that this folder is empty. There is no file. Okay, so if you want to create any file in Jupyter Notebook, how we can open? So first you are required to choose one file. See new, and here see this icon Python 3. Click on it. So new file in Jupyter Notebook is open. Okay, this is the Jupyter Notebook. So here you can see in view. You can select here show header. Yeah. Here you can give the name of the file. You can give the name of the file. Okay. So I will put here the name of the file is first Python code file. Yeah, programming file. Programming file. And then rename it. So you can see here title of the file. Okay. Now how you can use it? So as I told you that this Jupyter Notebook will include text, all type of the programming which you want to execute. Okay, and output value will also there. Okay, see here code, you will select here markdown. So when you will use the markdown, you can put the title of the file. Okay, just like I put here artificial neural network, applications. Okay, control and enter. When you will use control and enter, this will publish. But as you can observe that the text are very small. Double click on it, you can edit. Okay, so what you will do, you can use your hash. By using the hash, the font size will increase. Now it's fine. Okay, you can again use double click on it, and if you want to make bold, you can use double star and double star here, control and enter. Now these are in bold text. Double click on it. You want to introduce some description about this title, under this title. Okay, so you can add here description about the title. Okay, whatever you want to add, you can do. Control and okay, so here we have the title, and then about the title we can add here some description, just like if you are writing research paper, so under the title you have some abstract. Okay, abstract about the what you are doing. So in the same way you can add here. Okay, so again control shift and enter. So when you will use shift and enter, new shell will open. Okay, so here we have the code. Code is used to write some coding part. Okay, just like this shell will work like a calculator. Okay, all type of the programming which you want to write here will be available in this site. Okay, so if you are using hash, hash is simply comment sign. Control shift plus. You can increase the font size also here. Control shift plus. Okay, minus. If you are using control and minus, this will reduce the size. Okay, and I can hide this title. So yes, if you want to make it more size, full size, so for that you can use here. Okay, okay, so this sign is used for comment. This is comment sign. Okay, comment is nothing but an indication what we want to describe. Okay, just like I'm using this comment, arithmetic operations. Okay, so here I describe what I am doing. Okay, addition. So if you are taking for the addition, so if you want to add some value, just like a equal to 9, b equal to 8, and enter. C is equal to 3, d is equal to 6. So in Python, we are not required to define any variable parameter. Okay, just as we assign the value to any variable on notebook, in the same way we can assign the value to any variable without defining as we do in C or C++. So here directly you can store the value. So A, B, C, D, these are the variables, and 9, 8, 3, 6, these are their values, and equal sign is assignment variable. Okay, now if you want to use, you want to find the sum, sum is equal to, sorry, sum is equal to a plus b plus c plus d. Okay, and then print sum, and then from this place, or either shift and enter, shift and either, yes, shift and enter you can use. So you can see this is a very small program in Python which we write here. Just we take for variable, we assign the values, then we do some very simple calculation, some only, okay, and store inside variable. This is the variable where we want to store the calculation which we have done on the right hand side. Okay, so after computing, the value will be stored inside some variable, and to print the value, we are using here print function, print sum. So this sum will pass through this print function. This will return the value at the place. So this is a very small introduction about this Jupyter notebook, and you can see the Jupyter notebook is very quite simple to use. Everything which you want to describe, what are your thought, what you want to do, what are your concept, your idea, your equations, expressions, images, what you want to do, and everything you can do in this single file. Okay, so just try to describe here how you can install the Anaconda, then how you can open the Anaconda, from inside the Anaconda, how you can choose Jupyter Notebook. After opening the Jupyter Notebook, then how you can open the Jupyter Notebook file. Then after opening the Jupyter Notebook file, how you can use it. Okay, so this very simplest example I put here. So title, for title you can use Markdown. Okay, or for any text which you want to write. And for the programming, you can use this coding part. Okay, coding is your part to write the code. Okay, so here also we can do some more experiment. Just like if you want to multiply two number, then you will use this product sign. Okay, so this is the output. If you want to divide, then you can use this backslash to divide the number. Okay, if you want to subtract, then this is the sign to subtract the value. If you need to double time prod sign, okay, the meaning is that 2 cube, the value of 2 cube is 8. Yes, you can see this is 8. Okay, so in this way, these are the very simple operations which we are trying to use here, so that you can have some idea how we can use this Jupyter notebook. Because in the coming sessions, one or two file I will create myself, then other content will be prepared, so that in the minimum time you can have maximum learning. Just you are required to understand the concept, the application, the demonstration, output, how the models are working, which type of the assistive libraries are required, etc. So the task for you today is only to install Anaconda in your system, then open the Jupyter notebook and try to play with this file, how you can create yourself. And tomorrow, before starting the session, I would like to see the file which you have prepared yourself by using the Anaconda. Okay. So there will be only two options. Either you will create the file, or you are not able to install Anaconda. Okay. You have some problem to install. But the third option, we did not try. I don't like to listen the third option. Okay, I can listen only to the two options. Either you will try, you have prepared the file, and second, there is some problem in your system to install the Anaconda and to use the Jupyter notebook. So these are, with these two terms I am agree. For the last one, we do not try. Okay, so if you will not try today, you will not try in the coming sessions also. So this is all about the today's session. If you have any question related to this Jupyter notebook, how you can install the Anaconda, how you can use it, feel free to ask from me. Yes, anyone. Anyone, please. Dr. Anil Kumar. Yes, we can use Google Colab also, but during this workshop, we will not use the Colab. We use only the Jupyter notebook. But at the end or the last session, I will try to let you know how you can use Colab also. Okay. But the very first, you must start from by using Jupyter notebook. And one more thing I will let you know, when we are trying to present anything by using a Jupyter file, notebook file, okay, sometimes you are not able to type the same statement during the presentation. But if you will keep notebook and you can write something, basic information just like the functions, inbuilt functions, command. If you will note on your notebook, this will be familiar and will you will be able to remember this code. Okay, so you must have notebook to note down some key point, and the content and the files will be available for you. Okay, so when you will note down, this will enhance your learning. Okay, so this is the main purpose. Any more question? Yes, at the end we will provide you the project also. Okay, note on the end. This will be provided you 2 days or 3 days before last third session or second session. I will provide you the project also, mini project, which you will apply. Okay, and one or two projects I will demonstrate here how you can do complete. Yes, after that you will be able to create the work on the project. Yes, actually when all the concept, all the essential component which are required for the to work on the like prediction or recuperation model. Okay, so this is like systematically process. So when you will follow all the systematically process which are essential, then you are able to work on your own project. Not a problem. If you have the problem, we are here to help you. Okay, so don't think about the problem. Think about the solution. Okay, so I am confident you will be able. Okay, Alka Dixit is asking about teach us how it will be helpful for us in research. Yes, I will do. I will do in the coming sessions. Okay, so how this will help you in the research. Don't worry. Any more question, please? Okay, I can share some Python books, but rather than the Python books, if you will follow the lectures, that is more in the minimum time, you will learn a lot of. If you will read the book, it will take more time. Okay, so during this workshop, all essential part of the Python, just like the use of the Python. Okay, we are using the Python with the help of Jupyter Notebook. Okay, so this is the very simplest way, and everyone, whether you are familiar with the Python or not, whether you are at the zero level, I am confident you will not have any problem related to the Python. Okay, this will be user friendly for all the participants. As we are speaking, you are able to write the code. Okay, but keep in mind, don't miss any lecture. Okay, so I will try best from his side, and Also, I am confident during these 14 days, you will have very less question, very less questions. Yeah, recording in the beginning, I told you that the recording of each session will be available for you, for all the participants. Recording will be there. Any more question? Recording will be there. Content script file. Script file means the coding part. Okay. And all the Jupyter notebooks, how you can download, how you can upload, how you can use my prepared content for you. Okay, everything will be available for you. But then one thing, willingness to learn this technique is very important. If you want to learn, I can teach you. Okay, so all things will be very simple, very interactive, very useful, and at the end you will feel you have learned many things. Okay, and after that you are not required any help from other side. Okay, so thank you for the today's session, dear uh, Faiz. You can conclude the session now.
Yes, sir. As we come to the end of today's session, I would like to extend my sincere thanks to Dr. Meher Chand for introducing us to the foundations of artificial intelligence and artificial neurons in such a structured and engineered, engaging manner. Today's discussion provided the starting point for understanding how intelligent systems are built. While concepts such as artificial neurons and neural computation may seem abstract at first, they form the basis of the technologies that power many modern AI applications we interact with every day. I would also like to thank all participants for your enthusiasm, attentiveness, and thoughtful questions throughout the session. The curiosity and interest shown today set a strong tone for the sessions ahead. As we progress through this workshop, we will continue building upon these foundations and gradually explore how individual neurons evolve into neural networks capable of learning, adapting, and solving complex problems. Thank you all for being a part of today's session. We look forward to seeing you again tomorrow for the next step in this exciting journey into artificial intelligence. Have a wonderful night, everyone. Good night.
Good night and thank you to all. And tomorrow we will resume